Habari Entertainment proudly presents Habari Live. Habari Live. From Phoenix, Arizona. And you're listening to the Habari Live podcast. The show that brings you news, sports, and entertainment for people who love HabariEntertainment.com. Here are your hosts, Iesha, Jimmy, and Damon Dipleen Ellison. Let's get it going. We are all the way live.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Habari Ghani, my people. Let's get it going this morning, man. We are thrilled to bring you the latest edition of Habari Live, your go-to podcast for the pulse of Phoenix and beyond. As always, we are all the way live in Paradise Valley in Phoenix, Arizona. I am Damon Ellison and my co-host,
Iesha.
We will be your guide through the exciting stories and everyday happenings in our vibrant community, your weekly dose of inspiration, innovation, and insightful conversations from the heart of our city. So let's get it going. This week, man, we're going to talk about some racism, some radicalization, some accountability and political chaos that Donald Trump is creating in the government right now, man. But first, let's get it over to Iesha for the top stories of the week.
Good morning. We got a lot going on this week. In a major shift, our utility customers here in Arizona with Arizona Public Service, better known as APS, announced that it will no longer disconnect electricity during extreme heat. The new policy kicks in whenever temperatures rise above 95 degrees. So regardless of the time of year, it could be springtime, fall time. If the temperature rises above 95, electricity will not be disconnected. Officials say that the move is aimed at protecting vulnerable residents as Arizona continues to face dangerously high temperatures. I believe there was a few people last year that passed away from extreme heat due to disconnections of services from APS. So this is one of the measures that they put in place in order to avoid that happening again.
I think it was just the temperature was a little higher, if I am mistaken. Because it's always been in place during the summer when it's over 100 degrees. Mm-hmm. There was something in place, if I wasn't mistaken. But, that's good, man. It gets too hot out here in Arizona to just be able to just turning people's stuff off and people dying from heat stroke because they couldn't pay a bill. It's tough. It's a tough situation, man. APS probably lose a lot of money in that situation, but it can't always be about money, man. Sometimes you have to think about those that are struggling and need help.
Right.
So I think it's a great idea. But if it falls to 94, you're done. So so it's tough, man.
That is a tough battle.
Yeah. Hopefully they can figure that out.
Yeah, hopefully. Anywho, reality TV personality and former Olympian Caitlyn Jenner says that she was currently unable to travel internationally and claims that changes tied to policies under Trump's administration are impacting her passport status. Details remain unclear, but the situation is drawing attention on ongoing debates over federal identification and travel regulations. So it was said that, her passport was reissued with male as the identifier on her passport rather than female, which she had it changed to years ago when she had went through the transition.
You voted for it.
Yeah, you did.
You went with the people.
She FA'd and that vote.
She went with the people who were against trans people. They're hollering how much they hate trans people, and you went and voted with them. Like, this is almost as wild as the Black MAGA. It's almost as wild as that. But Black MAGA is worse. Right. But this is what you get, when you vote for people who do not care about you and what you represent and your life and the way you live, and they don't care about you, bro. So it's crazy that you went and voted for them in the first place. Right. Instead of the people who are trying to fight the right for you to exist, you go and vote for the opposite, And just like all Republicans, the problem is not an issue until it knocks on your door. And then it's, it hurts. It's hurting me. Wow. And now things are different because it's affected your life.
Right.
But before it affected your life, I don't care about anyone else. And it just shows you, these people, they supposed to be religious people, but they don't care about anyone unless it's affecting them. They really don't care
At all.
And so that's what he gets, and she gets, or whatever you want to call yourself at the time. That's on him. You go and vote for the people who do not care about your existence. How dumb is that?
Right.
But most of the country did. Most of the people in the country voted against their own motherfucking values, voted against their own life just to be racist against other people. He probably likes the stuff about the kicking the illegals out and all that. He love all that stuff, killing DEI, taking away anything that has the word black in it. They love that shit. Yeah. But then now it's knocking at your door because you're trans. And that's also in the book too, idiot.
Right.
Dumb shit.
It is. But, anywho, Arizona does have some sort of good news this week. Arizona drivers are getting new legal protections when leasing vehicles. A new state law ensures that if a leased car turns out to be defective, what we call a lemon, consumers now have a clearer rights and remedies in order to make up for that. Lawmakers are saying that the change closes a loophole that previously left many lessees without any recourse when purchasing lemon vehicles.
That's excellent, man, because it's been crap for years and years and years and years, where these car companies sell you some bullshit, give you a 90-day fucking warranty, and you're not thinking the car gonna break on day 91. You're old. Now you're owed money. You have to pay. They looking at you. We need the rest of our money after they done sold you some bullshit. It's crap, man. And the consumer has nothing. They can't do anything. You can't go to a lawyer. You can't do anything. But now this gives us something to fight back, because it's always been unfair that these people can just do what they want to, sell you some bullshit,
right,
and have no responsibility for the car. You the leasee, now you got to pay the rest of it.
You just leased it.
And it's crap, man. I've always thought it was crap, and it's crap. And I'm happy that something is happening, because it's always been bullshit.
It is. In the East Valley, a Gilbert gun store owner, is now facing serious federal charges. Authorities say allege that the owner was involved in a straw purchasing, which is illegally buying firearms on behalf of others, including military-style rifles. The case highlights ongoing concerns about how weapons can be diverted into the wrong hands. I mean, he's purchasing weapons for other people. He actually deserves to go to jail because that's illegal, right?
I mean, yeah, but that's a big problem in America, man. That we need to realize, and we talk about it all the time, but we don't do anything about it. But when we've laxed all the gun laws and made it so easy for everyone to get their hands on guns, you're going to have a lot more things like this happening, because a lot more people are going to be pushing for, gun initiatives, or trying to sell guns in the hood to people who don't have them. And it's always been like that. It's always been a problem.
Right.
And, it's bad, man. And these people who are always talking about, oh yeah, man, just loosen the gun laws. Yeah, definitely loosen the laws. It's definitely going to put a lot more guns in the streets. Either it's already a lot when it's illegal, but when everyone can get their hands on it, then more people have the opportunity to sell bad guns on the streets. And that's the main problem that people just kind of ignore. is that it's more people have access, then more bad people are going to have access. That's just the way it works, man.
Mm-hmm.
So if we were to lessen the amount of people that have access to guns, then maybe we could do a better job. You know what I mean? But it's tough. It's a tough situation, man. But because you have so many people who are just so gung ho on everyone owning a weapon, and we see the consequences of it. But we're not going to change. We're just going to keep it going.
Right. I agree. Some new information from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement reveals that 174 recipients of the DACA program were deported through most of last year. The disclosure came in a letter from the agency's leadership and is likely to intensify the national conversation around immigration enforcement and protections for so-called dreamers who were able to apply and obtain DACA status during Obama administration in 2012.
Oh man, and then these Republicans love. Well, Obama, he got rid of a lot of people also. So I mean, guns equalize the field. Nah, man, we're just killing each other, bro.
But
I
it's
know, I
illegal
know,
to
I
purchase a
know,
gun for
y'all.
someone else.
I know, but he's talking about guns in general. He's not talking about that. He's just saying guns equalize the field. That's all he's saying.
I get it.
But equalize versus who? The police? The military? I mean, it's cool, man. But if you go against these people that have tanks and planes and missiles, I don't know, man. You guys always say this, but if it was the 18, 1700s, then the guns were pretty equal, and what that military had and what we had was pretty much the same.
Exactly what I was just about to say.
But we don't have the same arsenal. You could buy all the AKs and AR-15s you want, but they got helicopters and jets
Tanks and drones.
tanks. We don't have all that shit, man. But whatever. I understand you guys are scared of the government's going to come and get you one day. Even though right now y'all licking the boots of the government and doing everything the government tells you and rolling over. But yeah, okay. You only care about the government coming to get you when it's a Democrat in office.
Right.
When it's a Republican, y'all happy to do whatever the government tells you to do, and y'all roll over and do whatever they ask.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know what y'all be talking about in the first place.
Yeah.
And anyway, what's the next one?
Lastly, an upcoming Valley High School event featuring Erica Kirk has now been moved to a new location following safety and security concerns. Details about the specific threats and concerns have not been fully disclosed yet. However, organizers say that the change is precautionary, and the move is drawing attention from parents and community members about safety at school-related events.
Yeah, man. I mean, I heard that a lot of the kids were against it, and they didn't want it there, and you don't do that to a high school and bring something that's so political into the high school. That's just causing problems. So, yes, it's live. That's why it's called Habari Live. Anyway, yeah. So you just don't do stuff like that, man. You have to bring in people that are non-partisan or bipartisan or just partisan. So you just you can't do that. So you want to make sure you bring in most of the time they don't bring in politics. They don't bring in politicians to high schools. That's just normal. And but then to not even bring in someone that's representing the area, you're bringing in someone from Turning Point USA,
Right.
Pushing a narrative that most people
Don't agree with.
Not with. Just because y'all are from Phoenix and you think that everyone in Phoenix is down with that, obviously not, because we're from Phoenix and we're exactly the opposite of what they're trying to push. We're not with it. But this is the way the thing is going, man. And I'm happy that the students and other people stepped up to make sure that this is not going on in the high school. So they'll be changing. I think they changed it. I think Trump spoke at something here, so they had something, but it wasn't in the high school that they wanted it to be in, if I'm not mistaken.
But I believe this event was supposed to be scheduled for April 24th. So this event that they're referencing has not yet happened, but it is going to be on a different location than the high school that it was supposed to be at when Erica was doing her tour.
Yep. It's mental. People who are the primary issues. Restricting tools used by both sides would only hinder people honest enough. Oh, God. The argument is so dumb, man. Because we don't know when someone's going to break the law until they break the law. We don't know when a good guy with a gun is going to turn into a bad guy with a gun and shoot up his family, shoot up his home, until he does it. So the argument that it only hinders honest people is crazy, because these people that you're calling honest turn the gun on themselves, on their families. It's it's more intricate and it's more confusing situation than just being able to, everybody has a gun, it's honest users. We don't know when that honest person is going to turn into a fucking monster. And that's why these things happen all the time, because you don't know when someone's going to change their mind and do something crazy. I mean, we don't know. And now we're giving them the tool to be able to take out their family, kill their kids and their wife. You know, we're handing it the tool and say, hey, go ahead, just be responsible. Don't do anything crazy. That's all you can do, and hope they don't do something crazy. It's craziness that we say, the tools to be able to, yeah, man. If everybody didn't have this tool, we wouldn't have this problem of violence, of shooting people. We have more shootings than in most places in the world. So I don't know, man. It's you see a politician the other day killed himself and his wife. Sad, man.
Yeah.
And it's
that
crazy.
Was in Virginia, right?
I forgot where dude was from. I know he lost a couple of elections and he had some I forget dude's name. But it's just a tough situation, man. And people make bad decisions. And they're taking out their whole family. And we're handing them the tools and giving them the ability to make the decision. You know, just because your life or your wife is trying to leave you or whatever, and you decide you want to kill everybody. And we gave you the tool.
Right.
Because like I said, we don't know. We have no idea when you're going to go crazy. But anyway, that's it. So what else we wanted to talk about today, man, is I talk to people all the time online, and you get to talking about things. And one of the major things that people love to bring up is talking about Africa and the things that Africa hasn't done. This is something you start talking about with races all the time, man. And what they want to do is they want to rewrite the narrative. Tell you that there was no innovation in Africa. And it's so much innovation that was being erased. And people don't want to talk about. It's like they want to say all the pyramids were built by aliens.
Right.
It's not, it couldn't have been them people. Couldn't have been the Africans. The Nubians, they built a lot of pyramids also. They built more pyramids than Egypt. Nubia had a big influence on culture of Egypt. We all know what the Nubians look like. And then we have this thing in sub-Saharan people. They had nothing to do with the northern Africa. It's silly shit. Like people from all over we all know that the path of civilization came from South Africa and moved north. So you think people just stopped moving like it was a border across the sub-Saharan desert, sub-Saharan desert, where they couldn't get to the north? It's so stupid. It's the dumbest shit ever. But they try to act sub-Saharan. They didn't know anything. Then they trying to tell you about the wheel, how they didn't have the wheel, where they didn't have any use for the wheel. North Africa did. But it's things that we have to discuss, man. I just feel like I have to educate people, because no, people act like they don't know anything. Like, it's so much information out here, man, about so many places, so many civilizations. And you're trying to tell me the cradle of civilization that, oh, they didn't know anything, they were just dumb, low IQ. When we know that the smartest people and the dumbest people, because of the diversity of Africa, they have some of the smartest people in the world. But I mean, these are the things, man, that needs to be talked about and discussed. And I think that we should address this racist narrative that keeps popping up, especially in certain political and online spaces. The idea that Africa, particularly sub-Saharan Africa, lacked innovation, lacked structure, lacked civilization. Just all racist bullshit talking points that keeps coming up. Claims that Africa didn't have multi-story buildings, that didn't have concrete, didn't have the wheel, and that someone real history begins only when separate North African from the rest. They try to separate North Africa from the rest of the continent. Like Southern Africa didn't have anything what happens in the North.
Right.
It's insane. People from all over the world came to Egypt, but it had to start at first with who? What do you think it started with? All the other people came later. These arguments aren't just wrong. They're rooted in a long history of distortion and racism. Just bullshit.
Yep. You're right. And Damon, when you actually look at the historical record, the truth tells a completely different story. Africa wasn't behind. It was actually foundational. Many of our traditions, beliefs, cultures, and identities started in Africa. We're talking about advanced architecture, global centers of learning, medicine innovation, and migration patterns that shaped entire civilizations, including Egypt. And that last point matters a whole lot more, because one of the biggest myths is that this artificial divide between North and Southern Africa, particularly sub-Saharan Africa, and as if people didn't really move or interact or build across the continent. But as we can see and look back through history, we can see that a lot of African people built a lot of shit.
Right. It's just, what's the knocking?
It's like Demi, probably.
It's just crazy, man, that we even have to discuss this shit, man. It's craziness. Every group has this phenomena. Another thing people forget are white indigenous tribes who also worship obscure gods and superstitions, who we look on with the same look of isolated Amazon tribes. Yeah, at one point, at one point it was. I mean, it's just that, dude. We look down on people because they're different and their culture is different and what they're doing is different. That doesn't mean that they lack innovation or they lack anything when it comes to technology. The guy was talking about how they didn't have concrete. Well, where they were at, concrete wouldn't work out for them, with not having a lot of water and with the environment being so dry. So they used like a dry brick to build with. They had to do what their environment gave them. Everybody thinks, oh man, they should have just had the wheel. Oh, the wheel wouldn't have worked out for them. They had very sandy deserts, and they had very thick forest. So it can't be, the wheel is not what they're going to use to get around. And that's the problem, man. People always think with the mind state of their culture and their environment. And they don't think about the things that's going on in other environments and how those environments shaped their culture and their innovation. It's silliness to think that, oh, we're able to do it, so automatically they should be able to. You don't know their environment. You don't know what they're going through and what they have to live with and what their weather. You don't know. You're just talking out of the side of your neck. So we start with Egypt. Ancient Egypt didn't exist in isolation. It was part of a broader Nile Valley civilization that included Nubia, what is modern day Sudan and southern Sudan.
Mm-hmm.
And at one point, Nubians didn't just influence Egypt, they ruled it. They ruled Egypt for a long, long time. We know how dark skinned the people are that are in Sudan and South Sudan. You know, it has been taken over by a lot of Arabian culture, and a lot of Arabs have been pushing in, but those people came later. But the Kushite dynasty, often called the 25th dynasty, came from Nubia and took control of Egypt, bringing cultural and political and religious influence with them. Did they have trans people, man, dude? Oh, man, we've seen the cultures of Egypt and how some people were more feminine than others. I think that's something that's been going on since the beginning of time. This happened in Rome. It happened in Greece. I don't understand what you guys problem with people who are more feminine that are supposed to be men. Not all men are all masculine. So I really don't know what you guys confusion or is about that. Like there haven't always been people who was more feminine that were men. That's been going on probably since the beginning of time.
And there's always been women who's been more masculine too.
I mean,
It's just the way it goes.
That's the way it is. So when people try to erase sub-Saharan African contributions to Egypt, they're ignoring documented history.
Documented history. And beyond the political control, there was a constant movement. Migration, trade, intermarriage across regions, and the idea that North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa were completely separate worlds, it just doesn't hold up. The Saharan wasn't an impenetrable wall, it was a network of trade routes. Gold, knowledge, culture, and people moved across it for centuries, trading ideas, trading food, culture,
Right.
silks, materials, all kinds of things.
Mm-hmm. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. We have to keep talking about this,
Right.
but the education in America is failing us, man. Because I keep having to have this conversation with people, telling me, "Oh," and I heard Nick Fuentes say it also. Nick Fuentes, "Oh, they didn't even have buildings that were more than 2 stories." These are the things that these people are saying. Just incorrect, just wrong.
Got them believing anything.
Anything, man. Anything to down the people, to try to be racist. No one said there aren't more masculine women or feminine men. The claim is men can't be women. Duh. We know that scientifically men can't be women. We know that regardless of what operation, everyone knows that. You guys are the only people that think we don't know that. But the part is the gender is what people are talking about. Gender roles can change. A dude in the home can be the guy, he's washing the dishes. He's doing more of the girly things. He's doing more gender-based things that women usually do. The man is doing it.
There are some men who would
like
rather
that.
be
Exactly.
stay-at-home fathers and stay-at-home husbands.
Right. Or whatever. He's just more feminine. And it just happened.
Right.
Or he dresses like a woman.
Right.
He's just feminine. That's what I mean. What are we gonna do? The left is so far fucking out there. Okay. Anyway, so we're talking about innovation because this is where the argument really falls apart with these people, man. Take architecture. You have the Great Zimbabwe massive stone structures built without mortar that have stood for centuries because they couldn't use mortar. They didn't have the water. They didn't have the ability to use it. They had to build with different substances.
Right.
You have the rock-hewn church of Lalibela in Ethiopia. Entire buildings carved directly into the stone. In West Africa, cities like Djamena and Timbuktu use sophisticated mud brick engineering that required constant maintenance and community coordination. So to say that these people didn't have innovation is just you being ignorant and not knowing anything about the fucking continent of Africa.
Right.
So no, Africa didn't lack building technology, man. It was bullshit. It used materials suited for its environment, and they mastered what they could use for where they was at.
Yep. And that's a very important distinction because a lot of these arguments assume that if something doesn't look like European stone or Roman concrete, it must not be advanced.
Exactly.
But that's not how innovation works. Different environments lead to different solutions, and African societies built durable, complex structures using materials available to them, such as stone, earth, wood, often with techniques that are still studied today. A lot of our current modern architectural um, engineers, they study a lot of the ancient techniques, including African techniques.
All right, we're gonna play a part of this video here that's talking about the Zimbabwe ruins and some of the things that were done to the ruins and how the colonists treated it, the colonizers treated the ruins. The history and the ruins that's all across Africa. And these people, they talk out of ignorance because they don't know anything about the history of a continent that they haven't lived on. They barely know anything about fucking the Americas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we are ignorant to the past. We are ignorant to history, and we try to use that ignorance to build on racism and hate.
Right.
And that's the things that we are fighting against. And everybody always, all black people always talk about racism and ignorance, man, because we're faced with it. I'm having this discussion because I had a discussion online with a guy who just kept bringing this shit, talking about what Africans haven't done. And like I said, I heard Nick Fuentes say the same thing, like trying to say that Africa didn't have innovation or sub-Saharan because he tried to separate North and South Africa like it's a wall that the South Africans couldn't get over to go to North Africa.
Like North and South Korea.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Like they couldn't, they had the wheel in North Africa. You didn't think that they tried to take that innovation to where they was at and realize, hey, this isn't working.
Right. We got to do
this
something
isn't
different.
working for us. I mean, it's so stupid, man. We know the trade routes, and everybody has talked about trading, and from far as Africa to China, these things happen, and we were sitting around acting like they were just stuck in this place. Yes, some tribes, but not everyone. There was some people that was pushing forth with science, education. Africa was home to some of the world's most important centers of learning, Timbuktu being one of them, which is in present-day Mali. It housed thousands of manuscripts covering mathematics, astronomy, law, and medicine. The Library of Alexandria in Egypt was one of the greatest intellectual hubs of the ancient world. And institutions like Al-Azhar and in Cairo became global centers of scholarship. This wasn't a continent without knowledge. This was a continent producing knowledge. And you guys sitting around, all these racists sitting around trying to tell us what Africa didn't have and what they didn't do. You're wrong.
Right.
Go read a book.
And that brings us to one of the most powerful examples. Medicine. Long before modern vaccines, African healers were practicing what they called inoculation, what we now call a variolation, which is basically the same thing. We're injecting something into the veins. They would take the material from a mild smallpox case, introduce it into a small cut on a healthy person, and that would trigger immunity. That was not primitive. That was very precise techniques that needed to be done. And that's understanding that the body's response to a disease. So they took that learning and applied it on a larger scale,
Right.
which is what we now have today known as our vaccines.
Right. And that's the main argument, because I said this last week while we were talking about something. And a guy tried to argue that wasn't true, that Africa didn't start the first vaccinations, ideas of vaccinations, which was a lie. The history it's there. These people, they had the idea, and it's to say that they didn't, and you just don't believe it because you're racist. Yeah, man. What can I do? But here's the history that connects directly to America. An enslaved African man, Onesimus, shared the knowledge in the early 1700s with Cotton Mather during a smallpox outbreak.
Mm-hmm.
At first, people resisted the idea, but when they tried it, the results saved lives. This African medical practice became the foundation for one of the first successful inoculation campaigns in North America.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yep.
I know the racists don't want to hear it, but that's the truth.
Yeah. So when people say that Africa didn't contribute to science or medicine, they're ignoring the fact that African knowledge literally helped shape modern immunology.
Mm-hmm.
And that knowledge didn't just disappear. It came from generations of observation, experimentation, and refinement, mastering of a skill. Just
Mm-hmm.
like a blacksmith would refine his skill, a medical a technician refines their skill for performing inoculations or the injections for vaccines.
Right. I mean, we've heard of Timbuktu. We've heard of the manuscripts and the writings of ancient astrology that was coming from there. I'm going to run you through a quick video of Timbuktu and some of the manuscripts that they were writing in ancient times.
He is all holy and almighty. He created skies without props. He made them high by his might. What a great sky! He made light out of the sun and the moon and completed the designs of what he put in the sky. They are so beautiful. He decorated the nearest sky with stars. It is so noble. He related time to the rising and the setting of these stars. They are so perfect.
Deep within the shifting tide of the Sahara lies a city so remote, so mysterious, that it has enthralled travelers and storytellers for generations. For many, this place was the remotest point of nowhere, a mythical lost city which quietly counted the centuries by the ebb and flow of the Saharan sands. Timbuktu was once the pinnacle of learning and trade in West Africa, a place where long ago astronomy was practiced for hundreds of years. In this film, astrophysicist Tebe Medupe travels to the fabled city of Timbuktu to find ancient astronomy manuscripts. Working with two local translators, he's in a race against time to reveal the scientific content of the ancient manuscripts before the information is lost forever in the sands of the Sahara Desert. This film will reveal compelling evidence that will cause the world to rethink Africa's historic place in the realm of knowledge and science.
Yeah, man. So it's just shit, man. You get tired of talking to people, man, all the time, and having to describe to them and tell them what has happened throughout history, man. It just gets annoying, man. And so I just wanted to talk about that today and address some of this man shit, man, because just because you don't know doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
Just because you don't read doesn't mean that others don't. So, I mean, we're going to address another talking point, the idea that Africa lacked materials like concrete or technological development. That argument often ignores context, man. In many parts of Africa, traditional building methods were more efficient and sustainable than concrete.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about modern concrete, The infrastructure, especially in southern Africa, slower adaptation had more to do with economics, colonial disruption, and resource allocation, not a lack of intelligence or capability.
Exactly. And colonial systems were designed to extract, not to develop. So when infrastructure lagged in certain regions, it wasn't because the people couldn't build. It was actually because the systems were put in place that prevented long-term investment and growth.
Right.
And that distinction matters a whole lot. When certain restrictions are put in place and you can't grow, you have to adapt and use other materials, right?
That's real. And that's all we wanted to talk about, man. I just want to take a few minutes to discuss that because when you hear Africa didn't have innovation, remember this: advanced architecture, global universities, medical breakthroughs, complex trade networks, and civilizations that influenced the world were from Africa. So, what did we learn, man? The key points that we learned today in this, man, that I want you guys to take away is Africa had no buildings. That was false. Great Zimbabwe, Lalibelia, Dajin, they all had complex urban planning that was built into this. Sub-Saharan Africa had nothing to do with Egypt. That's false. False. Nubians from the south ruled Egypt during the Kushite dynasty. Cultural exchange along the Nile was constant. Migration across Africa was normal, not rare. The Sahara was a trade route, not a wall. Africa had no science. That's false. Timbuktu manuscripts, astronomy, math, medicine, early vaccinations was practiced in Africa. Iron smelting was across West Africa. They skipped the Bronze Age and went straight to iron. Innovation is environment based. Africa used stone to build, they use earth, they use rock carvings. Not using Roman style concrete, it wasn't a lack of advancement that led them there. It was more environmental. They didn't lack innovation. They used different materials, built different systems, and created knowledge the world still uses today. So,
For sure. You're right. And remember this, history is often shaped by who's telling the story. And here at Habari, we're here to make sure that you actually get the full story.
that's real.
We want you to be fully informed.
So, why are you asking me where I live? I don't know what that have any significance of what we're talking about. The guy was talking about Africa, and it doesn't matter if I live in America. My ancestors, my people came from there. So I can always take up from the place where my ancestors came from. Just like if somebody shitted on Norway or Scotland, you would defend those places because your ancestors are from there or wherever your ancestors are from. That's the way it is. And did my ancestry. I know that we're from West Africa because I'm going to talk about the things that they have done. Why would you? Who would do what? I mean, we all know the reason why the things aren't made and that they haven't built their manufacturing in Africa. We know why. Just she said, man, colonists do not build; they extract, they take. They were not building in Africa; they were taking resources. They were not trying to help them to become a better place. They were making them worse by stealing shit and making their museums better for people can come see the shit that they took from somebody else. As they take all their resources, the oil, the gold, the diamonds, they've just stolen from this place. Yeah, you don't have to wonder about where something is made in Africa because the colonists took it all. And they're still trying to fight to get hold of their resources. So I mean, it's crazy that we even have to talk about this, but that's what we have to talk about, man. Because in this day and age, people know nothing. They know nothing but to be disrespectful to the places that they haven't been. They lied about Africa, the truth. They don't teach it. You have to debunk the myths and racism that's built into history.
Mm-hmm.
Way before Europe, Africa's hidden science and power was there. They have a legacy that they built, man, that was destroyed by colonialism. Period. So now, man, we want to go over, man, some of the things that Trump has been doing while in office, some of the promises that Trump made, and some of the things that he talked about he was going to do, and all of the things that he's done the exact opposite, man. The reality of what Trump has done while he's been in office, and all of the things that he promised that he was going to do, that all you fuckers went and voted for when you knew he wasn't going to do none of this shit. Y'all went and ran and voted for the dude, and now he's doing the opposite of everything he said he was going to do. Everything. And we're going to list some of those things right now. We're going to go through them, because when it comes to Donald Trump's presidency, the question isn't just what was promised, it's what actually happened. And when you line those two things up, it's laughable. There are some serious gaps when it comes to Trump and what he's doing, man.
Right. And Damon, let's be clear. From the start, every president falls short somewhere. And that's just the reality. But when people are reacting to right now is the scale of the promises versus the actual outcomes, because one of these weren't small claims. They were bold. They were headline grabbing. Some of his promises were guarantees, such as, I'm going to end all wars. No more war.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been in war for about 2 months now. Almost 3.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's hard to listen to these guys anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they come in the comment section talking crazy, but it doesn't make any sense. Everyone voted for no wars, and that's all y'all were hollering. Well, Kamala's going to get into a war.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense. None. At all. I mean, he said about Ukraine, he said, ending the war in 24 hours. He said 24 hours.
That's all it was going to take.
He repeated that over and over and over. 24 hours. I'll get it done in the first day. And we all knew that he was lying, because he couldn't get anything done the first time he was in office.
Right.
But somehow you fucks, y'all fell for the bullshit again. Oh, he's going to do it in 24 hours. Yeah. They're still at war with Ukraine. And they're in the worst place because Russia's about to take over Ukraine. They're doing everything they can to fight them off, man. But Russia's going to, their strikes are getting more and more deadly. Trump is not doing a thing to help them. But this is what y'all wanted. Y'all didn't like, y'all said, forget Ukraine. If they get taken over by Russia, that's what they deserve. But these same people are hollering and screaming, it's cool that we in Iran, because, oh, we're trying to save them, the Iranian people, and keep them from getting nukes. Russia got nukes. Don't care about that. That's one of our biggest enemies, who doesn't like Americans.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird, man. And Russia is actually going around taking out other countries.
Right.
Iran wasn't doing that at all. Now let's fast forward. War is still ongoing. And then we hear it was said in jest. Oh, he was just joking. He didn't really think he was going to get it done that fast. He was just talking. Man, get the fuck out of here.
Right.
You're going to say this shit over and over and over again, and then we're going to give him the benefit of the doubt? Hell no.
And that's where people get frustrated, because voters didn't vote for it. They don't treat those statements like they were just jokes. They treat them like they were commitments. And that's exactly what they did. That's what Trump voters did. They treated everything that he said as a commitment. So when it doesn't happen, his trust takes a hit. His approval rating falls to 31%. because he promised no more wars, right?
Yeah, man, it makes zero sense. And anybody that's with him just makes 0 sense to me. Let's see here. The Biden administration made sure that Ukraine war couldn't be ended by supplying them with weapons to strike. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. Give them weapons to defend themselves. Something we do for Israel all the time. We have no problem with supplying Israel with all type weapons so they can strike Lebanon and strike everyone, Iran, the people of Palestine. We have no problem with that, but we got a problem with helping the people of Ukraine defend themselves. Who we said that if they don't get a nuclear weapon, that we'll protect them.
Right.
And we will get away from that promise. But we're sitting there telling the Iranian people, "Oh, we're going to protect you." Like, what's the difference? It's very confusing. It doesn't matter. You're just going to count last week because the week before 13 people died. So you could talk about how many people died after 13 people died the other day. 13 people were killed in this war so far. About nothing. Nothing. Man, you know nothing about international politics. If you following Donald Trump, who knows absolutely nothing. Look at this debacle happening with the Strait of Hormuz. This is he should be embarrassed.
And they just closed it again.
Right. That's what I'm saying. He talking about it's open. Stock markets go up. Everybody, yay, it's open.
Iran comes out and said, no, it's closed.
Nope, closed. Closed again. Just, man, this is embarrassing, dog. The president does not know what the hell he's doing. Pete Hegseth's out here quoting Pulp Fiction. It's bad.
Yeah, that was bad.
The people in Israel are from Ukraine. The Jewish people, some of them that were Jewish, that was from some of those areas. Not all of them. The Jews came from Eastern Russia. They came from all across Europe to go to Israel. All across Europe. Dude, it's only been a couple weeks. How are you even celebrating that? 13 people died for nothing. This war makes 0 sense. It doesn't matter how many lives were. It's only 13 people. Well, it's because it's not your fucking brother or son or cousin that
or
died.
Nephew.
You could say only because you don't give a fuck about them, but somebody does. This is dumb, man. Hopefully it doesn't escalate. But this is the dumbest war, the dumbest skirmish. This is stupid. So let's move to IVF, man. The promise, make it free. He said he was going to make it free. Not partially covered. Not expanded access. He said he was going to make it free. Did Trump keep to that promise?
No, he didn't. And right now, there's no universal system, no mandate, no follow through on that level. So again, the question becomes, was that a real plan or just a powerful line on the campaign trail? Was it just another promise that Trump made to get you to vote MAGA?
Mm-hmm. That's it.
I think it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, is it dead? It makes 0 sense, man. Makes 0 sense. All the things that he keeps promising, and he hasn't done any of them. The only thing we can say that he's done for sure is close the border. And right now, it's just laughable, man, to see what's going on. The president has done none of the things that he said he was going to do. Iran has been a problem for 60 years now. I mean, how long is a problem? Russia been a problem, or North Korea. Are we going to go to fight with everybody that's been a problem right now? So let's fight everybody. Iran did not have any problem. We did not have any issues with them. They were not attacking us. It's all bull that we're sitting here going to war with them over this right now, and it's a global disturbance. It's full incompetence that they try to start this in the first place, listening to fucking Bibi, Netanyahu. Bad decisions. Horrible, horrible, horrible decision. I need to wake up. Man, you need to wake up. What is the problem? What is the problem? You guys, you hollered and screamed how you didn't want wars. And that's the reason why you didn't vote for Kamala. You told us that. You said that. I don't want to vote for Kamala because she's going to start a war. That's what you guys were saying. Your guy gets in there and starts a war, and then you're like, yeah, we're with it, war, yeah. Like, man, you're just hypocrites. You don't stand by your word, and you're just followers. It makes zero sense, man. Iran has killed thousands of Americans. You guys wasn't saying this on the campaign trail. Why is it changing now? You wasn't saying this on the campaign trail. You wasn't talking about this shit. Why is it different now? Because you're making excuses for your leader. If we allow them to grow without pushback, they could crash. Man, get the hell out of here, man. Y'all just making up bullshit excuses. No one was talking about these things at all. We weren't talking about these things. He wasn't talking about this in his first term. So why is it a discussion now? Because he started some bullshit and everybody just trying to make excuses to say it's okay. That's why. Grow some balls, man. Dude, was no one worried about Iran? Yeah, we keep them, we watch them, we make sure that they're not doing anything, but man, nobody's tripping off them. Are you ready to live with less in order for us to stay in our position? Certain things, man, get out of here, man. That sounds like nonsense. Is that what the colonizers say?
Mm-hmm.
Like, dog, this is this disgusting ways of thinking, man. That you have to be the person to go around and take people out. Y'all, the same people that's saying we don't have to be the police of the world. Mm-hmm. We don't have to help Ukraine. That's what y'all said. You don't have to help them. We don't have to police the world, but now we better police the world. Like, dude, man, right. Y'all moving the goalposts as like always. It's always moving the goalposts. Mm-hmm. Let's move the goalposts. Brother, where have you been? We have had an embargo on Iran for years now. Embargo is not war. Embargo is not war. That is a financial
agreement.
Dog, it's not war. You talking about embargoes and holding money and sanctions. That's not war, man. I mean, it's ridiculous that you guys can keep coming up with excuses while we're in this bullshit. So now we're gonna talk about immigration, man. And I think that this is one of the promises that he did keep. This was one of his centerpieces. Mass deportations. Now, how he's put it in place is horrible. But he's done his deportations. I don't know if he's deported more people than Obama at this time. But this was the energy that he was putting forth. That was the messaging. Mass deportation, closing the border, nobody's getting in. But, reality did step in, the courts, logistics, funding. That scale didn't happen that he wanted to say. The scale of people that he was wanted to get rid of, it's not as to the scale that he wanted. He wanted to be cruel about it. He wanted to be sick about it. And Kristi Noem, she tried to push forward the narrative that he wanted, but, she got herself fired.
Right.
Yeah.
And to answer, no, he has not surpassed Obama's deportation numbers, even in his second term.
Still can't beat Obama. And he went after criminals and said he wasn't going after people that's going to work. He said it openly. And what we're seeing instead is a broader enforcement approach, not just targeting violent criminals like he said he would, like he originally emphasized. Instead, he's going after everyday people. And let's talk about what people feel every day, the economy. Even if Obama deported more,
they all got a fair process.
Yes, they did. And he went after criminals. He went after criminals. He went after people that we wanted out the country. Like I said, he said openly, I'm not going after grandmas and people that work here and do the right thing. Trump just released way more money to Iran, so y'all better stop talking about that. The sanctions that Trump just released, oh my goodness, it makes the money that Obama gave them looks minuscule. How much money did Trump just release a sanction to them? It's billions. So y'all might as well stop talking about that. Oh, Obama gave him money. Trump just gave him 10 times more. 10 times more.
He unfroze roughly $20 billion.
$20 billion that he's just unfroze.
20 billion.
Respect. We don't have to agree to talk. Yeah, man, but $20 billion and Obama gave up 1.7 billion.
Yep.
So
that was in
was
2016.
Right. I was wrong about the 10 billion more. It's 20 billion. Like the guy gave up money, man. Russia, yeah, you're right, man. Russia can't keep up with the war in Ukraine without feeling anything because no one's going to pressure him.
Yep.
You know, Trump, he loves Putin. He respects Putin more than he trusts our allies. He respects Putin more than he trusts Canada and NATO. He aligns with Putin more because his mind state is of one of an authoritarian dictator. So let's go into another promise of Donald Trump's. Lower costs. He said he was going to beat inflation, make life affordable, is what he said.
But people go to the grocery store and the prices are still high. You can walk out with 4 bags and it still costs you $60. Energy bills are high. So whether you're looking at policy or perception, the promise isn't lining up with daily life for a lot of Americans.
Nope.
Especially a lot of average Americans, middle class, low class Americans. For the top 1%, yeah, it may be affordable for them. But for those in other classes, it's not so much.
I mean, his policies for the economy has pretty much taken us in the opposite direction.
Right.
When you talk about groceries and how much things cost, groceries are up. $17 for a pound of hamburger, man. Shit, we bought some ribeye steaks. They were like $25 for one steak.
We spent $60 on 3 steaks.
$60 on just a couple steaks, man. Things are worse, and these people cried and hollered and screamed and yelled and blamed Bill Clinton, Joe Biden for everything. Everything was his fault. We all like, man, we're trying to get out of COVID. Maybe, hopefully, things will go back to normal. No, it's Joe Biden. What policy did Joe Biden put in place that caused all this shit?
Right.
They can't think of one, but it's his fault. But we can tell you what this dude did. He put in tariffs like a fucking idiot. These tariffs are tearing our ass apart. And then on top of that, he goes and starts a war. And what he said, oh, gas prices was Biden's fault. Y'all love talking about gas prices. Gas prices. That's all y'all talked about for 4 years. Now, he starts a war. It's his fault. 100%. It's his fault. He started this war. No other reason did we have to go to mess with Iran. I mean, dog, dude, shit is higher now than it was under Biden. I don't know what you're talking about. COVID at its highest point, was the worst. And as Biden presidency went on, the effects of COVID were dampening, and it wasn't as bad as time went on. And by the time he got out of office, we were about back to normal. But this guy, when he gets in the office, he comes straight in and he put in all these tariffs, man. And the tariffs has killed us. You cannot stop talking about Trump and think of Trump and what the hell Trump is. Hey, man, he's the president. He is the president of the country. He's leading our country right now. People are dying in this war. Civilians are getting killed daily. Yes, he should be talked about. Like, it kills me that you guys come in here talking, oh, yes, we always Trump around. You're always talking about he's the leader of the fucking nation. When Biden was in office, everything y'all did was about Biden. Y'all riding around with bumper stickers on the back of y'all car.
Let's go
Brandon. Everywhere y'all went, I saw a Let's Go Brandon sticker. You thought about Biden enough to put a sticker on the back. I ain't thinking of Trump that much. I ain't putting a sticker of Trump on the back of my fucking car. It's not happening. I'm not buying t-shirts saying Trump sucks. I'm not doing it. But y'all did. So that was the most one of the most repeated lines was from his first administration was Mexico was paying for the wall. Now we know this is the old one, but this one was repeated a lot, and he loved saying it, but it didn't happen.
Right.
We paid for the new parts of the wall that was put in place.
Yep. And it didn't happen. The funding came from U.S. taxpayers. Not surprised. So that's not the spin. That's just fact. Yeah. We paid for that wall.
Right. Let me see. I think maybe the pandemic saved us because if it didn't happen, he would be on track with, yeah, man. Well, it'll be over by now. He would have had his two terms and we would have somebody else. I kind of wish that he would have won and Biden would have lost, but we needed that to get through what was going on with COVID. Yeah. We needed Biden. We needed a grown-up in the room because Trump was dropping the ball, man. And they were playing games with COVID. Their people still are hollering they're not taking vaccines because of all the games that were played online. It was ridiculous. Let me see, what's that say? I get your complaints. What I don't get is you're loyal to the Democrats. They are both liars and thieves. Yeah, man, there's liars and thieves on both sides. You think in every facet of life, there are good and bad people. There's not nothing in life that comes out and everyone is good. From the church to government, from school to wherever, the hospital. Not all doctors are good. Not all teachers are good. No one is all good. There's always a bad apple in the bunch. And you people want to throw out the whole bunch because there's a bad apple in there. But you have no problem with a felon president. It's the weirdest shit ever. It took a lot of his focus and it kept him from international stuff. Yeah, I guess, man. I guess. But I just wish that, I kind of wish that he would have won the second one and Trump and MAGA would be over right now.
Yep.
But we got 2.5 years to go of this mess. And, we're going to try to make it. Now, here's where it gets a little deeper, man. Trump said he wasn't going to touch Social Security and Medicare because those are sensitive issues, man, because Republicans, they hate socialism, but they love Social Security and Medicare, two socialist programs built by the liberals and Democrats. But they don't like it when those two things are touched.
Yep.
And what happened?
He made clear promises to protect them. But proposed changes and budget discussions have raised concerns about cuts, restructuring, and so now those same voters are watching very closely.
Yep.
A lot of them are Trump's MAGA base.
Mm-hmm. And the cuts it's already went into in his big beautiful bill.
They
it
sure
cut
did.
Food stamps. It cuts Medicare.
It did.
It takes away hospitals from rural areas. It kills the small people and it gives it all the money to the rich, like always.
You switch camera.
No one is thinking anymore, and no one is using their brains. I agree with you. No one is thinking, man. Everybody's just trying to run to their side instead of doing the right thing for the American people. You know, so many people just want, just do what we say over here and don't work with anyone else. And that's the mentality that Trump brought into office, a mentality of not working with the other side. And that's not the way our government is built. That's not the way the Constitution was written.
Right.
So let's talk about these tariffs, man. You know, he talked about tariffs the whole time. And people just ignored them. A lot of us, we listened and we were like, tariffs are not good. But the right, they were with it. They're okay. He stole without trying to hide it right in front of. Yeah, he's stealing every day. That Bitcoin cryptocurrency shit he got going on, he's stealing daily. People buying gold cards to get access to the country, stealing. All this money finna go right to his pockets. He ain't never said that this money was going to go to the deficit or some type coffers for American people. He never said that.
Right.
The money is coming to him and his pockets. But tariffs, this is where the policy meets real world impact, man. And we've all been impacted by tariffs. You know, the things that I like to buy, I like to collect legends, man, and Marvel legends. I collect them. And the prices of these damn things have skyrocketed. The shits used to be $10, $15 for me and my daughter could buy some characters, and talk about them and shit. Now the shit's $26, $27, $28, $30 for a normal character that used to be $15. Everything's double. Can't even have fun with my daughter and buy the characters without spending the millions of dollars. It's bull. But the goal was to bring back manufacturing. That was the mission. Didn't happen. Let's see. When Biden left office, inflation was at 2.98. What is it now? The cult following will never leave because they see themselves in him. He is someone who speaks their language, and it's someone else's fault. You're right. It's the Mexicans' fault. It's DEI fault. It's the immigrants' fault. There is always somebody else's fault, man. It's never their fault. But people used to know what they are doing, and all people know is what Trump says, nothing else, just Trump. I agree, man. People used to be able to think for themselves. Now they don't, man. Whatever Trump says, they just roll with it. They just parrot it. And it's terrible, man, that these people, man, so many people have turned into bootlickers, grifting, not standing up for the American people, man. It used to be we are against the government. Now these people are pro-government, and whatever the government do, they're bending over, greasing themselves up.
You're right. But the results have also been mixed. Some sectors didn't grow the way that they expected them to, and consumers are dealing with higher prices tied to those tariffs. So again, who's actually benefiting? Like you mentioned, you aren't able to play with our daughter with the action figures because you got to spend $1 million on just purchasing one of the figures. At this point, they're not even something that you can play with. That's just a collectible at this point with the amount of money that you're spending on them.
They're ridiculous. Shit costs way too much money, man. Even if manufacturing came back, it would make stuff so expensive, like $3K or $4K for a phone. It's not as good as the phones that we have.
Yeah.
And it definitely would cost more. And like you said, man, our people do not know how to manufacture the way that Asia and India has the ability to manufacture right now.
Right.
There would be a lot of fucking upskilling and learning that we would have to do to try to figure out exactly where our pain points are, where we have to get better. And it would take a big amount of money to get it done. And I don't know if the companies are willing to do that. When the companies left in the 80s, because that's when all the manufacturing started leaving in the 70s and the 80s, they did nothing to stop it. And that was the best time that they could stop what was going on and try to keep those companies from moving on. But by the time the 80s came, we had gave so much power to the stock market and the shareholders that those are the people who were going to be making the decisions. We put everything, all our eggs, we put it in the stock market. We put it in this market, and we said, fuck pension plans, fuck building for our people and making sure they're good for retirement. We're gonna put everything on the stock market, 401k.
Yep.
Now people sitting around hoping that the stock market succeeds, because if it doesn't, our retirement is out the window. Everything is gone that we built and tried to make right. So the shareholders, they saw that we could make more money by moving all the manufacturing to China. They don't care what is going to happen to the neighborhoods where all these people who work there, all those people who built their businesses around the manufacturing, the people who worked there used to come and buy things from the businesses. We didn't think about the effects that was going to happen from the top all the way down to the bottom. But 40 years later, we're all seeing the fucking repercussions of what Reagan's ideas of putting everything around the fucking stock market and where it's gotten us.
Trickle down didn't trickle down.
Trickle down economics is the worst idea ever. So let's go to the next slogan. Trump said he was going to drain the swamp. He didn't drain it the first time. He became the swamp. He was the swamp thing.
Yup.
Now this time, here he comes again. He's in there. He's saying he's going to drain the swamp again. He's going to get all the Epstein people.
And became an even bigger swamp.
The biggest swamp ever anybody seen in their goddamn life. This was about removing insider influence. Nah, he's removing people that he don't agree with.
Yeah. But the critics are arguing that insiders are still very much part of that system. So the question becomes, is the system changing, or is it just reshuffling the cards in the deck so you don't really understand what's going on?
Right.
Seems like a reshuffle.
Yeah, that's all he's doing, man. Right. Trump didn't drain the swamp. He just changed that. Right, exactly. He just changed the alligators. Yep. The dude is it's disgusting what we're seeing right now, man. This is the most corrupt administration ever. He's more corrupt than he was the first time. He learned from the first time and said, man, I can be more corrupt. And he's doing it.
I could do things differently.
Man, dude is doing it, man. He's on a whole nother level of corruption this time. Are you trying to immigrate the shit out of demographics to pull a reverse on whitey? What are you talking about? But anyway, a lot of people, some people are happy about what's going on with the demographics that a lot of people are upset about. The white nationalists are pissed because they see the demographics are going a different way than they want. They see birth rates are dropping. But this is a part of capitalism. You love capitalism so much, we know that this is a defining point of what capitalism is built on. Once people start getting into the middle class and all of the products cost so much to raise a child, I forget, I think $850,000 to raise a kid, something crazy, just under $1 million. Big money to raise a kid. Most people don't have this type of money, man. And we're okay with that being at that price. We're not putting in anything with healthcare. We're fighting against that. We don't want to help mothers. We don't want to give people any aid. And then we're looking at them crazy because they don't want to have kids. Like, you're not going to be able to have these things both ways in a capitalistic society because it costs too much. And people start having dreams and they start saying, hey, I can get this to become this for I can be able to have a certain amount of money. If I have kids, that's going to stop that. So demographics going to be a problem for a while, man, in this country because we're not making it easier to have kids.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Trump said the other day, we don't have money for daycare. We need to blow up people. What do you mean? We're not paying for that. We're not paying for people's health care. Our tax money can't help us. It's just supposed to go to wars. Now he said that was his big promise, man. He was going to stop the forever wars.
Mm-hmm.
He said it time after time. He's going to stop the American all the wars. He's not going overseas with wars.
Mm-hmm. But the troops are still deployed in multiple regions. So that promise, at least right now, is incomplete.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't follow through on it.
At all. Didn't follow through at all, man. So let me ask you, Iesha, is this just politics as usual, or is this something voters should be more concerned about with all the lies that this administration has put in place?
I think it's both, actually, because yes, every administration faces reality once they're actually in office, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when the promises are this specific, this bold, and this absolute, people expect results to actually match those promises.
Right.
And when they don't see it, that's where the credibility starts to slip. And honestly, that's why Trump's approval rating has slipped to 31%.
Mm-hmm.
People don't trust what he says anymore.
Why would you? Why would you? The key word that you said was credibility. Because leadership isn't just about what you say, it's about what exactly gets done. And if everything you said was going to get done doesn't get done, then your credibility should take a hit. MAGA should be looking at this guy like, man, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. And the voters are watching more closely than ever because it's not just about the headlines, but it's about the follow through. Are you going to stand 10 toes down in what you said you were going to do? Or are you just going to, I said it, but I'm not going to really do it.
Right. That's what's going on, man. We live in a time right now where a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people are trying to make it through. A lot of food stamps have been cut. So a lot of people are getting a quarter of the money they were getting at first. A lot of people here in Arizona were just dropped off the rolls, period.
We just saw a 47% decrease in SNAP recipients for Arizona.
Crazy. And what do you think these people going to turn to? They need food.
Right.
Crime.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all think, oh, we all want these people with aid. Go get a job. Yo, all this crap.
And most of them already have jobs.
Yeah, a lot of
still
people
can't afford to feed their families.
Mm-hmm.
That's why the aid exists.
So what are you going to do, man?
Hmm?
All these people are going to be out in the streets. All these people are going to be out here talking about what they need to do. And what's going to happen, man? They're going to turn to crime. They're going to turn to breaking into places. It's a bad decision to ignore the people that are hurting. And these the right. They always talking about religion. That's the crazy part. They love talking about religion and God and all this shit. But be the first people to take food out of someone's mouth.
But don't let it be their child's mouth that you take food out of.
Fuck these people, man. JD Vance sitting around talking about God and Hexiv talking about God, trying to speak on scripture.
While quoting movies.
Right. Tell me, what have the Democrats done to hurt the working class? Also tell me something that Republicans have done to help the working class. And tax on tips is not one of them. Because all of us don't work for fucking tips. Tax on overtime is not one of them. Because all of us don't get overtime.
Mm-hmm. I know my job doesn't offer overtime.
So, I mean, all these people sitting around telling us how great these things are, man. Most of the incentives in that dude's bill went to the rich people. And they say food banks. I don't know if you ever been to a food bank, but they act so great, but you feel like a charity. Hey, man, but you got to do what you got to do to feed your family. If that's what you have to do. Yeah, when I was a kid, my mother used to go to food banks. She went to different places like that because she felt as though, that was her options.
Mm-hmm.
She worked our ass off. She through school and got to a point where we didn't need things like that. But that's the way it goes down, man.
That's true. But, in some places, like I know my mom says that, when she go to get food boxes, they only allow you to get a food box once a month from the food pantries and from the food banks. And I just think that that's just asinine. Why would you only allow a family to receive services or food from the food bank once a month?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, you don't want people
overusing it.
I mean, taken from other people.
Right.
But at the same time, if the family needs it, they sitting there starving. What are you gonna do?
Exactly.
I mean, you should give them a month's worth of food to not be able to come back for a month.
Exactly.
And that's the way it should be. But man, this shit's bad, man. It's bad. Yeah, millions of people rely on tips, but not everyone. Not everyone that's working class. That's not the best way to help working class people. You're only reaching a small percentage of people that works for tips, man. That's only the service people who work in service jobs, and then not even all service jobs are work on tips. Conservatives is trying to blame both sides. Yeah.
So roughly 4 to 6 million people in the U.S. work for tips out of a total of 350 million.
350 million. Only 4 to 6 million people work on tips.
That's like 2% of the population.
That's too small of a number. That's what I've been saying. I already knew. Not that many people work for tips anymore. But that's when your Republicans are out of touch.
Right.
They don't know. They think everybody working for tips. Nah, man, shit. Nobody working for no fucking tips. I think, dude, there's not many jobs that do that anymore. I would rather not have an economy that's so shitty I'm forced to spend my time in Democrat subsidy lines. Snaps. What? Dude, that made no sense. If you have a job, you make enough money, you won't be in the fucking lines. A Democrat ain't gonna make you be in the line or take your job away from you. It makes no sense. It makes zero sense. But all right, man, we're gonna go to some clips, man. Cracks in the system, power pushback, and public reactions. This was going on, man, on Habari Live today. We move into our clip segment where we let the video speak first, and then we break it down and talk about what's going on. Because right now we're seeing something shift in real time. Political allies turning into critics, economic pressure building and questioning about leadership, getting louder and louder and louder from all sides. But let's get into it, man. Clip 1, Trump versus Fed Powell. First up, economic pressure and power. President Donald Trump now says he's willing to fire Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell if he doesn't step down. Let's take a look at that.
You want Jay Powell out of the way. He said he's not leaving if, Well,
then I'll have to fire him, okay? If he's not leaving on time, I've held back firing him. I've wanted to fire him, but I hate to be controversial, I want to be...
I hate to be controversial. No, you don't.
He's not supposed to be able to fire him. How many times has he been told that he can't fire the Fed chair? How many judges have told this dude? But he's still, I could just fire him. I swear he's special ed, dog. You are not you don't have power over the Fed. They are a separate entity, dog. You can't fire him, you stupid fuck. But he keeps talking, I'm going to fire him.
So what Trump is referring to, though he cannot fire him, he's calling it, I can fire him. Trump can only remove a Fed chair, or any president can only remove a Fed chair under a 4 clause, which is under Section 10 of the Federal Reserve Act. This legal standard is interpreted as inefficiency or neglect of duty or malfeasance, requiring a higher bar of proven wrongdoing rather than policy disagreements. Such actions would likely trigger immediate litigations on their behalf, which is why he's saying that he wants to fire him. He wants to use this particular clause, but wants to say that he's firing the Fed chair, even though he's necessarily not
You
doing
can't
it
use that
technically.
clause because that's not happening.
Right,
And you're going to have to prove that it's happening.
right. He has to prove that it's more wrongdoing other than just policy disagreements. And at this point, that's all he has. It's policy disagreements at this point.
I don't even think Powell was under Obama, because I think Trump is the one that put him in place, if I'm not mistaken. Trump put Powell in place. And you know, he's treated him like shit because he makes decisions without fucking talking to Trump, and that's why Trump don't like him.
Now he don't like it.
He don't like him because he's not listening to him. Right. Trump wants the interest rates to go down, but Powell is looking at the numbers. They're all making a decision because it's not just him. There's a fucking group, a coalition of people who come together and make decisions for the fucking percentage. They don't just make it just, oh, how does the president feel? No, they look at the numbers and they make that decision based on the numbers. How the economy is going, how jobs are going, how is unemployment going. That is how they make the decision. They don't make the decision because President Trump said so. So Powell just doing what he's supposed to do is bad because Trump want him to listen to him. He think he's a fucking king. No other president in history has put fucking pressure on the Fed like Donald Trump has, because you're supposed to be separate. The Federal Reserve is designed to operate independently, separate from the fucking president's political pressure. So when you hear a president talk about removing the Fed chair over interest rates, that raises serious economic concerns. It may cause to hurt the stability of the economy. When the Fed chair started listening to political influence to lower or raise the interest rates by the influence, that is not going to be good for the American people.
You're right. And it isn't just about the personalities here. It's about the actual markets, because even the perception of political influence or interference in the Fed can shake investor confidence. So this isn't just about, let's just talk about some things. This has real consequences. Is the Fed chair really going to listen to the president and follow his political policies?
Yeah, we can stop talking about the king shit. Why are you doing that? We can start talking about the king shit when Donald Trump stopped acting like one. When he starts listening to the Constitution, something that he doesn't want to do.
Yeah.
He just wants to do what he wants. And that's not the way it works. And that's why people keep bringing up the king shit, because he keeps doing things independently of what the Constitution says. Now, we're going to go to something we don't usually see this openly. Fractures inside the MAGA movement itself. Trump calling former allies low IQ, and those same voices firing back at Trump. I think we have the video. No, Trump on a budget. No, I think it's that. Go down. On allies, Trump on allies.
So if Donald Trump thought he was going to get his former allies, people like Tucker Carlson and Alex Jones, to stop calling him out and shut up and be quiet by calling them, quote, low IQs, they're stupid people, they know it, their families know it, and everyone else knows it too, Donald Trump was mistaken. While those kinds of attacks and threats might still work on members of Congress, it might have gotten members of the MAGA sphere to back down in the past. In another sign of just how politically weak he is and how much Trump's support with his own base has weakened, they have barely seemed to flinch. Here's how Alex Jones responded.
At the end of the day, I just feel sorry for him and pray that God touch his heart and soul and free him from the demonic influences that he's under. I mean, it's just that simple. This is a nightmare.
Now, when Alex Jones is the one praying for you to be relieved of your demonic influences, that's next level. Then there's Candace Owens. Here's how she responded. Oh, she said it may be time to put grandpa in a home. Once Candace has come back. Tucker Carlson seems to be trying to play as statesman in all this, and may have sensed that more and more of his followers might view drawing the ire of Trump as a badge of honor. He released his own version of a red hat that says low IQ.
Mm-hmm. Low IQ. Low IQ. Go ahead, bring us back. Yeah, man. Go ahead.
That's significant because this coalition has been one of the most unified forces in modern politics. And now we got public infighting.
Mm-hmm.
They're fighting amongst themselves.
Yep.
Which is exactly what MAGA wanted us to do.
Nah, man. They really thought their little coalition of crazies were going to stay together, was going to stick them together, and throughout the 4 years they were going to be united against the libs. But some of these people have brains. Now, I may not agree with Candace Owens and none of that crazy shit they be on, but they're finally coming to their senses when it comes to Trump. The dude is a kind man. And most of y'all have been kind. Some of y'all love it. Y'all like it. Y'all like the bullshit. Y'all like people getting treated like shit. It makes you feel good to see others hurt. But some people have brains and they see that this guy is a disgrace. A disgrace. And he needs to sit down somewhere. He's too old. Joe Biden, when y'all hollering and scream he was too old, we listened. And he didn't run again. He didn't run for a second term because he was too old. Mm-hmm. We're in Trump's second term. We knew he was too old the first time, but y'all didn't want to listen.
At all.
Sleepy Joe. Now this dude sleep at every meeting. He's sleeping through the whole presidency and y'all have no problem with it. We seeing cracks in their unity, man. It's changing everything because the movements rely on loyalty to Trump. And once that starts breaking down, momentum is starting to shift. Trump is pissed off as his so-called, the people who helped get him there, and they're turning their backs on each other. That's what's going on, man. So next we're going to go into AI banking warning. And the Fox News trying to tell Trump about AI and some of the things that could happen. And this guy is just not fucking listening.
At all.
Joe is way better than Trump, period.
I got to ask you about AI. This is an important question, I think, for our audience. And we saw reports that Treasury Secretary Bessent and Chairman Jay Powell called an emergency meeting with the major banks because they said that there was a risk over the Anthropic model. And the worry is that bad actors are actually going to be able to hack into these banks and faster than institutions can actually respond. Do you see this as a systemic threat?
Not systemic. We'll work it out. AI is very important. Billions and even trillions of dollars is being invested in our country because of it. It's got some bad aspects. It's got mostly good aspects medically and so many other ways. You'll be finding cures to diseases that you would have never found before. There are a lot of good things, but we have to be careful with it. Like everything else, we have to be careful with it. But when you tell me Bessent is great, when you tell me about Jerome Too Late Powell, he's a disaster. Here's a man who took this little...
So he just dismissed everything rather than addressing it.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Goodness.
Okay.
That's crazy.
So yeah, that's a serious disconnect, man. Because AI isn't theoretical anymore. It's already impacting cybersecurity, banking, and infrastructure.
But ignoring those risks, why would you do that? That's not optimism. That's just pure exposure, especially when financial systems are involved. You're supposed to reassure the American people, not just dismiss their concerns.
Yeah, man. I mean, someone said that Biden was better and smarter. If you don't get out of here, man, Biden was. So, his Trump was better and smarter and sharper. I'm sorry. Biden was a much better orator. He speaks way clearer and in a better structured sentence than Trump ever has. Trump speaks in run-on sentences. Like it makes no sense what he
rambles.
says. He rambles and it's just horrible, dog. I can understand what Biden was saying. Now, hey, what was he getting old? Yeah.
But
yes, I think both of them are
saying.
too. I think both of them are too old. But at the same time, Biden is way smarter than Trump. Quit it. Quit it. Now, next we got the war powers clash, man. Now to foreign policy and strong words from Capitol Hill. Senator Tammy Duckworth speaking on the Iran war powers resolution, and letting Trump just do what the hell he wants to when it comes to war. Let's go ahead and play that clip. You should say Duckworth. There we go.
Unlike Trump, I actually know what it's like to leave your blood soaking into the desert sand a half a world away. So I know what it's like. I know what it's like and what is at stake for the troops this administration is sending into harm's way. We must safeguard their valor and their professionalism by doing our jobs. I can tell you this, it's a whole lot easier to cover your eyes and order other Americans to sacrifice their children and sacrifice themselves if you don't have to do any of the sacrificing yourself. It's easier to send other people's children to fight in a war if you know your own children are cozy in a penthouse suite somewhere. It's easier to ignore the everyday realities of war from inside the hallowed halls of the White House, where you've got McDonald's being DoorDash to the Oval Office. But it's nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible if you've been actually outside the wire yourself. So I've come to the floor today to keep true a promise I first made over 2 decades ago. I ran for Congress, not because I wanted to be in Congress, not because I wanted to be a congressman or a senator. I ran for Congress to honor the men and women who carried me out of that bloody war zone. I made a promise that when the drums of war started beating again, I would be in a position to make sure that our elected officials fully consider the true cause of war, not just in terms of money, but in human lives and in the sacrifices of the men and women who wear the colors of this great nation. That was the vow I made to the troops I deployed with and to all of those who've served since I've hung up my uniform. I'm here today under this great Capitol dome to keep that most sacred oath, because right now, thousands of our troops are ready to do their jobs, even if it means laying down their lives. And it's tragic, it's disgusting to me that even as they prepare to do their jobs, our president and some members of this chamber seem so eager to neglect their own. So as those drums of war echo louder than they have ever in years, I am here to remind Donald Trump that he does not have the authority to unilaterally force us into.
That's not subtle. That was a direct criticism of leadership during a military conflict.
Yeah, man. It highlights a bigger issue: who controls war, who controls those powers, and how those decisions are being made. It's a powerful statement from Duckworth, because Donald Trump has never made that sacrifice. because he's old bone spurs and he's used all the excuses he can to not go to war, to not face what other people has faced and seen the destruction and the chaos and the carnage that is war is.
Right.
That is war. And he's quick to drop bombs and talk about killing and wiping out civilizations because he doesn't care. He doesn't like people.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't give a fuck about people's lives. Only his. That's why he shits on people when they die. He has no heart. He's a piece of shit person. And all you religious people love him. Love him. Why? Because you're piece of shit people. And piece of shit people go hand in hand. Let's take that comment down. But next, man, we got JD Vance. And
the drama he's got going on.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead and go into the internal politics again, because this time it's involving JD Vance. There are growing questions about tension at the top. Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
Even once it was clear, that Orban was going to lose, President Trump sent his vice president, JD Vance, over to Budapest, over to Hungary, to make campaign appearances with Orban, to shake his hand and stick his thumb up in the air and to say how much he was sure Viktor Orban was going to win, right before Viktor Orban lost in a landslide. Why did he send JD Vance over to do that after it was so clear Orban was going down?
He thought he could save face.
It's like when Trump nominated the disgraced Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz, remember him? Nominated him to be Attorney General. Do you remember that right at the beginning of this term in Trump's presidency? I mean, they knew very quickly that Matt Gaetz definitely was not going to get through. He was not going to be confirmed. But before they made him withdraw, Trump sent JD Vance up to Capitol Hill to walk arm in arm with Matt Gaetz around the United States Senate to take into all those senators' offices, to give him his big endorsement and say how much he personally believed in him and how sure he was that Matt Gaetz was going to be confirmed as Attorney General when it was already clear that Gaetz was going down. Why did Trump send him to do that? Total humiliation for JD Vance. I mean, they just did the exact same thing to him with Orban in Hungary, sending him over there before Orban just got shellacked. And then Trump sent him straight from there to talks with Iran, which instantly failed, and which were probably always going to fail. While the president said explicitly in Washington that if the talks failed, the whole war could then be blamed on JD Vance. Thank you, sir. May I have another? In Iran, now we have moved on from Iran blockading the Strait of Hormuz to the United States blockading the Strait of Hormuz. So if you think the war was going great before, you're going to love it from here on out. This has a clear strategic purpose, definitely, sure. The president said this weekend that lots of other countries are going to join with us to implement this blockade of the Strait of Hormuz. Apparently, no other countries are joining with us to implement this blockade. But don't worry. By meanwhile deciding to move on to attacking the Pope, at the exact moment his vice president, JD Vance, is starting to promote his new book about how excited he is to become a new Catholic, Donald Trump is presumably trying to so humiliate his vice president that he drives JD Vance to quit, which would at least give Trump a chance to pick a new vice president before the midterms, which might shake things up a bit for him and his Republican Party. Yeah, pay no attention to the $10 a gallon gas and the fact that we're now a pariah.
Now, when you look at the situation when it comes to JD Vance, everything this dude touches dies. He went to go see the Pope.
Died.
The dude died the next day. Goes over to see Orban. His fucking
he loses.
He loses the next day. Everything this dude touched, man. Everything JD Vance goes to, everything he touches, fucking fucks up, dies, and boils in hell.
Are we sure JD Vance isn't a Black Widow?
JD Vance, man, Trump sends him to these things just so he can be the person that's there before shit goes horribly wrong.
Right.
He was there before Matt Gaetz got slaughtered and removed. Like he's there before every person most embarrassing moment is going to happen. And that's what this guy is doing. He's riding around bringing doom to people. Because when he arrives, nothing else comes except doom.
Doomsday.
Doom and gloom. Now, I mean, JD Vance, dog, if you don't see this shit, everybody else seeing it. Everything you touch turns to boo-boo. It's terrible. If there's even ever been a perception of instability between the president and the vice president, we can see it today. It's a big problem, man.
Yep.
He's sending, yeah, you probably right. Sending Vance so he could catch the blame for all this shit.
Mm-hmm.
Because right now, it looks like it's his fault usually because he's the person that's there shaking hands. Mm-hmm. And when the shit goes horribly wrong, we got pictures of JD Vance.
Mm-hmm. It was just like Rachel Maddow was saying. They're sending JD Vance so they can blame him for everything. And then by the time they're done blaming him for everything, they ain't gonna do nothing but fire him and pick somebody else to replace him.
Right.
Or hope that JD Vance gets tired of having all the blame thrown on him so much so that he quits. But because leadership isn't just about policy, it's cohesion. And right now, people are starting to question just that.
Right. Sad, man. Now, let's get to Trump fighting with the Pope. Trump fights with the Pope. I mean, this is just ridiculous, man. Go ahead, run the clip.
Jesus told us, "Blessed are the peacemakers, but woe to those who manipulate religion in the very name of God for their own military, economic, or political gain, dragging that which is sacred into darkness and filth." Yes, my dear sisters and brothers, you who hunger and thirst for justice, who are poor, merciful, meek, and pure of heart, you who have wept, you are the light of the world.
Now, the Pope, he's speaking on the misuse of religion that Pete Hegseth and Trump are using right now to wage their garbage war in Iran. Now, all the people, you're talking about Kamala and Biden, they never had the Pope talking trash about them. They never got into a fight with the Pope. Like, it's sad. This dude is getting into it. Talking about the Pope don't agree with my war. Like, which Pope has ever agreed with, yeah, kill them all? Right. Like, what kind of Pope would that be? It's insane, man.
Yep. Mm-hmm. But the message is clear. Don't weaponize faith.
Don't weaponize faith, man. Hey, well, he didn't call Trump trash, but I do agree if he should have called him trash because Trump is trash.
Right.
He said he didn't agree with the war. Is all he said. That's all he said. He didn't call that man trash. You're just making up shit. But in today's political climate, that message hits directly because religion and politics are increasingly intertwined.
Yep. Which brings us to Trump's budget criticism. Let's go ahead and talk about the money again. Political commentator Hassan Piker breaking down the federal budget. Let's go ahead and roll that clip. Trump budget, yep.
Trump's budget manages to be $361 billion larger than last year's, despite cutting $300 billion in social programs and other public investments. All of that money is going to policing and it's going to endless war. It's not going to bridges, it's not going to tunnels, and it's certainly not going to health care.
At all.
Every single one of you, regardless of your political affiliations or your ideology, should consider that money to be stolen from you.
That's real, man.
They don't believe it. They don't care.
The budget crisis and the deficit is climbing to astronomical rates. Trump and his administration is doing absolutely nothing about it. The amount of spending that we are seeing right now is just, it's unbelievable. They holler and scream when the Democrats are in there. And the Democrats usually are bringing down the deficit. But they yell and scream, the deficit, the deficit. Soon as they get in office, they don't give a fuck about the deficit. Bush didn't care. Biden did what he could. Trump gets in, he don't care. Republicans don't care. They spend more and the deficit go up more under a Republican president than it does Democrats. It's been proven every time. The Pope was right to call out war. That's what the fucking Pope is supposed to do. And for this guy to attack him is ridiculous. But when it comes to the budget, that's a major claim. Increased spending alongside cuts to social programs is killing us.
Yeah. And that's where the voters are starting to ask, well, where is the money actually going?
That's real, man. Because we have no idea. Let's go ahead and go to clip 8, man, where we got a RFK moment. And we got RFK talking about it's got to be on there. There we go. Kennedy.
Mr. Secretary, you've made a number of outlandish and frankly disturbing comments both before and during your tenure as Secretary of Health and Human Services. I want to draw your attention to one of those times. In a 2024 podcast interview, you suggested that Black children on ADHD medication should be reparented. You said every Black kid is now just standardly put on Adderall, SSRI, benzos, which are known to induce violence, and that those children are going to have to go somewhere to get reparented. There is a lot to unpack in that comment. I know that you've already answered several of the questions I was going to ask, and so I'm just going to rephrase them. Mr. Secretary, you've already admitted that you are not board certified physician, and you've already admitted that you did not go to medical school. Have you ever reparented, or parented, I should say, a Black child?
I don't even know what that phrase means, and I doubt that I
yes
said
or no
it.
answer.
I doubt that I said that phrase. No,
Absolutely.
I'm not going to answer something that I didn't say.
You absolutely said it.
Oh, I'd like to hear the recording.
So to be
Because
clear,
it doesn't
sir,
make any
I'm
sense.
I'm
I
gonna
don't even know
reclaim
what
my
it
time.
means.
I don't either. That's why I'm asking.
And by the way,
so to be
of
clear, you're not a
26
doctor, you have no medical degree, and you have no formal medical training. You
have
have never parented a Black child. And yet you
24
are
of the 26
suggesting that
HHS
government-
secretaries have not
Secretary,
had medical
This is my
degrees.
time. And I say to the chairman, I want to reclaim my time. So you are not a doctor, have no formal medical training, and you've never parented a Black child, and yet you are suggesting that the federal government should take Black children away from their families and reparent them and send them off to some wellness farm instead of providing them with evidence-based.
You're just making stuff up.
I am absolutely not making this up. Mr. Secretary, in your opinion, what factors should the federal government consider when reparenting a Black child who has been on ADHD or ADD?
I don't even know what you're talking about, Congressman. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what reparenting even means.
I don't either, but you said that.
I did not say.
And the people who believe
She got your shit on quote.
Right.
With your face
you think
on
she
it.
made this shit up, man? She said exactly where he said it at on a podcast in 2024. He said this mess. And because of the way he looked in that hearing, someone else was hired. Someone else was hired because what's her name?
Erica Schwartz.
Erica Schwartz hired, Black lady hired to run the CDC. She's already changing her tone on vaccines and already changing the tone of that RFK has put in place.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that they even hired this dude who has no medical degree, don't know what the fuck he be talking about. He's just rambling on with just craziness. I just don't understand why this dude was put in charge, man. All these people are pieces of shit. He knows nothing about medicine. He should never been put in the position that he was put in. Never. This dude knows nothing. Talking about black people need to be reparented. He don't know shit. There's more white kids on Adderall than black kids, period. Like dumb shit, dog. All these kids, you're just giving them Adderall.
Oh, she brought the receipts. She told you exactly what podcast he said it on and what year he said it.
It was, the receipts were there. Y'all just don't like the truth. You don't like the truth at all. You like listening to liars. You like listening to piece of shit people who push racism. You love it. You love the racism, man. That's why you like it. You love it. Now, it's getting a lot of attention online, man. Kennedy tried to deny the statement while standing in front of it. He saw the fucking quotes right in front of me. I didn't say that.
I don't even know what that means.
That's the kind of moment that goes viral instantly, like always. Because perception matters. And visuals like that speak louder than anything else. And that's why Trump had to hire somebody else new. Because this dude looks like a fucking idiot every time he opens his fucking mouth.
Yep. But let's go ahead and move on to Capitol Hill, where Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett is speaking on accountability and enforcement. I believe we have that clip, so go ahead and roll it for us if you can.
All crime across the United States. They refuse to enforce congressional subpoenas to advance the investigation into the Epstein pedophile ring. They've been completely silent on the fact that Donald Trump issued unconditional pardons for January 6th insurrectionists, many of whom were convicted on separate charges of rape, stalking, child abuse, domestic violence, drug trafficking, and possession of child porn. For months, they've ignored Trump's and Hegseth's war crimes when they ordered the killings of non-combatant civilians, many of whom were just fishermen, and now they're ignoring the president's illegal war and genocidal threats against the Iranian people. Republicans have completely abandoned the American people. ATF case referrals are down, DEA case referrals are down, the number of weapons seized by DHS dropped by almost 80%, drug arrests are down. In just the first 6 months of his administration, Trump's DOJ ended 23,000 criminal cases, including investigations into terrorism, tax evasion, drug trafficking, and other violent crimes. And Republicans on this committee haven't held a single hearing, started any investigations, or done anything about it. Drug traffickers, men who prey on children, murderers, and potential terrorists are all roaming the streets of America because they'd rather use these families' tragedy for political gain. I'm gonna be real honest about this. Your children should be here today. Believe me when I tell you that. And while I sit in this imperfect government, and we all know that government is run by imperfect people because we are all human, there are policies that can be changed. And it would be my hope and prayer that we start to bring about policy changes that can prevent loss of life all around. But right now, as federally elected officials, the one thing that we could do to start to save at least some folk is to focus on the fact that we have what seems to be government-sanctioned violence that is leading to people dying. And we are the ones that oversee these government officials. And I would encourage the chairman to hold a hearing so that we can do that part, because we are not elected to run any city. We are elected on the federal level, and we are the ones that are supposed to have oversight over DHS and others. And with that, I will yield.
Yeah, right. Man. Yeah, man. It's a call for consistency.
Yep. A call for consistency. And it raises a bigger question here. Are laws actually being applied evenly?
Yep.
Most of the time, they're not.
No. Things are not going the way they're supposed to be going right now. And we have an administration that's ignoring crimes, ignoring criminals, and focus on people who are going to work every day. Mm-hmm. They're dropping the ball on so many things because their focus is on the wrong path. And people are suffering because of their mistakes. Now, finally, this might be the most telling. Voices that once supported Trump now speaking out. Schultz on Trump.
I believe when Trump, everything he campaigned on, I believe he wanted to do. And now he's doing the exact opposite thing of every single fucking thing.
Know what he's done. Yeah, exactly to your point. If you tell me, it's easier for me to believe you wanted to do all these things if any of them were happening in the way that you said they would.
To that point, like there'll be people that they'll DM me and be like, you see what your boy's doing? You voted for this. I'm like, I voted for none of this. He's doing the exact opposite of everything I voted for.
Yeah.
I want him to stop the wars. He's funding them. I want him to shrink spending, reduce the budget. He's increasing it. It's like everything that he said he's going to do, except sending immigrants back. And now he's even flip-flopped.
I mean, the guy has flip-flopped on everything, man. He's flip-flopped on every position. We talked about it earlier. Everything that this dude is flip-flopped on, everything that this guy has said that he was going to do and didn't do, it's been crazy. Now, finally, his people are calling him out. Finally, people that voted for him are saying, man, voters' remorse. And we're not going to shit on them because they're finally coming to their senses. But these podcast bros are the reason why Trump was put into office, man, because what they were selling to the young kids, the young white men who were falling down these holes into these traps of bullshit. All these motherfuckers who told us, oh, Trump's strong, Kamala's weak, Biden's weak, Trump's strong. All the bullshit they was pushing. It's their fault. I'm going to I'm going to listen to them as they say they feel bad for what they did. But at the same time, I can shit on y'all because everyone fought against you and told you what's going to be the consequences of this guy's presidency. And you didn't want to fucking listen. You wanted to tell us, oh, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Kamala this, Kamala that. This dude is the worst. Kamala could nowhere near be this horrible of a person as this guy is. He's a piece of shit person. Soros, right. So is Elon paying everybody to badmouth Biden and talk bad about the Democratic Party? Is it Trump? Is it Elon paying everyone? Since Soros pays it, I don't know. I don't even know fucking Soros. He don't send me no checks. Y'all so stupid, man. Man, dude, think for yourself for one time. When support starts to change and people like Schultz are starting to switch up their ideals of what they thought of fucking Trump, that's when narratives really start to move. Mm-hmm. That's when shit really starts to switch. So when you put all of this together, economic pressure, political infighting, policy criticism, and shifting public voices, podcasters going to get them, podcaster bros going against them, you start seeing a bigger picture. We already knew the Republican Party was going to be on edge as this dude is the one that's running them. But what are they going to do when this guy is gone? What's going to be their new focus?
Yep. And that picture is still evolving. But one thing is clear. People are paying attention. And they're asking more questions than they used to. They're not just, oh, we're just going to go with the flow and do whatever you said we're going to do.
Right.
Who, what, when, where, why, how?
Right.
I want to know. That's what people are starting to do.
Yeah, man. People are asking questions, and a lot of the people who put Trump in charge are seeing that they made a mistake, that they could have went a different direction to the direction that we're in right now. We all knew what was going to happen, but some people, you know, they were looking at things through rose-colored glasses when they were looking at Trump. So, of course, I think about the future. That's why blue taking control is more important than ever. That's real, Darren. I 100% agree. Trump can talk a lot of people into things. It's unbelievable how many people just listen to this guy. So I agree with you, Kerry David Hobson. He's paying your sorry ass to run your uneducated mouth. Who, man, dog? if I was getting paid by George Soros, man, we would have this nice setup. Our productions would be so dope. Are you kidding me? Fuck out of here, man. Nobody getting paid. Only thing we get paid off of is views. How many views we get from our videos from YouTube. That's about it. We ain't even getting that much on that. So it's you could shut that down. That shit sounds stupid. You would think people would be tired of paying for wars that we get not manned. You know, they were tired when the Democrats was in there. They didn't want to pay for Ukraine. They were so pissed off. They hated it. But now when their boy gets in there, none of that shit matters anymore.
Right.
So it's crazy, man, to see, man. These guys, man, how they move the goalposts is just ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. The world needs a regime change in America. America's a warmongering nation that live by the swords, love themselves, and selling warmongering weapons is America's number one. It's definitely a big commodity. We sell a lot of violence, man, a lot of destruction. And we pocket and we make money off that shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not a good thing. Not a good thing what America does. Cause wars, make money off of it. Other people's suffrage, we gain.
Mm-hmm.
Auto pen. Man, shut up, dude. Auto pen has been used by presidents for centuries.
Right.
You think everybody was signing all this shit, man? You gotta be stupid, man. People were using stamps, all type shit, man. You gotta sign 1,000 different pieces of paper. Are you kidding me? It's so dumb that y'all keep bringing that stupid shit up, man. What Trump was trying to do with the auto pen and trying to get Biden it, you know, it was thrown out by a judge. Like thrown out because it's dumb and y'all still talking about it. That's why we say, man, y'all can't think for yourselves. You just keep saying shit. You know Trump uses an auto pen all the fucking time.
And he admitted that he uses
He uses the fucking auto pen, you idiot. Fuck, man, he uses it. He just know that you are too dumb to look into it to see that he uses it just as much as Biden did. But you're too dumb to fucking Google and see that every president uses it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just y'all, oh, well, Biden was too dumb. Dude, Biden can make coherent sentences and paragraphs. He can write coherent sentences and paragraphs. Trump cannot. We don't understand it. He's writing in all caps, no periods, no paragraph indentions, nothing. Just him writing in caps.
Yep.
It's horrid. And he speaks the same way. No period, no stops, just run on sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Do Republicans think Trump signed 1,500? They got to be that. They're that dumb, dog. Where they think he just sat there and signed 1,500 pieces of paper by hand. Like, obviously, he had to use some type of auto pen, a stamp, or something. He's not going to sit there and write on every single one of them.
He probably wrote on like 10% of those papers.
Man, that dude write on one piece of paper and then show it to everybody like, ooh, look what I wrote.
And then go through and stamp everything else.
What the fuck you think he's doing? No way he's signing that shit 1,500 times. Goodness, it's ridiculous. These shows will never talk about political games being played and the history that comes along with it. And there's a lot of political games being played. And a lot of people that play those games. If there's people, there's going to be people there that's doing the wrong thing. If it's humans involved, because that's what they do.
So he doesn't even know what he's signing. Everything he signs has to be explained to him.
That's real. Mm-hmm. And you're right, man. Trump is not going to live forever. They think they're going to be. He's going to be. I don't know what they're going to do when MAGA goes away. Right. I don't know what they're going to do. I guess it's a debate stream, but it's really just us talking about our views and discussing with the people in the comment section how they feel, and I try to make sure to talk to people and make sure I reply to comments and discuss what's going on and how they think about it. That's the number one thing I like to do. Dude, you are fucking high on crack if you're saying Biden was more. Yes, he was.
Way more cognitive.
Man, dude, he was a better orator, a better speaker. He was in the Senate for fucking 30, 40 years. Yes, he's a better politician than Trump. I don't know what y'all see. Trump is straight ignorant. Like, dog, he doesn't even know how to speak. You see him fumble over his words all the time. Like he can't even say words. I just don't get it, man. Biden, I've never seen Biden say the dumb shit that Trump has said over the last 10 years. You gotta be fucking kidding me. I mean, come on, man. Biden has done some shit. He's sleepy where he said some shit, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. He has said some dumb shit.
He has
But
stumbled.
is it worse than Trump? Absolutely not.
Nope.
Absolutely not. Hell no. I can't wait for years down the road when the documentaries about Trump and his corruption. Man, dude, he's gonna look so bad, and all these people are gonna be a joke in the documentaries. And as they look at these people, the future will laugh at these people in the red hats.
Mm-hmm.
They will be the butt of the joke. They will look like idiots. So all you MAGAs that think y'all look real smart and putting it to the libs, you're going to look stupid in the history books.
Mm-hmm.
You will be the clowns that we will laugh at in the future. And our kids will laugh at how stupid it was that these people were so MAGA and letting this dude do whatever the fuck he wants. Where do you get your information from? Evidently, they're blind as well. Oh, God, shut up. Not from Fox News, that's where. I've never met a pilot. I mean, Kamala has said some things that were ignorant and you know, I didn't agree with. I haven't met a perfect politician yet. Obama about the closest orator that I've never really made many mistakes when it comes to speeches. Dude was pretty good. Bill made some mistakes. You know, he made some mistakes. He lied about a couple things. He could have did it a little better, but Bill was a better politician than Bush and Trump. Period. Last two Democrats was much better than dude. I agree. Fox News, it isn't news. It's entertainment. It's like the WWE. Straight entertainment. None of this shit is real. None of this shit is real. They're just out there fake wrestling. They know the outcome before the shit even start. Worship and arrest president is very corny. Thank you, Lady Wiser. We appreciate you. Marco Rubio. So Dumbo is gonna be the next president, huh?
Not Dumbo.
Fuck out of here. He can't be the president after being in MAGA. Fuck out of here. Dude talks so much shit about Trump. And then now he's on this administration in his cabinet. Nah, man, he could never come back from this. He would never win the presidency. Never. And his ears are too fucking big. So there you go. I get all my information from Trump. He tells you a lot of people do, man.
If that is
a
MAGA
lot of
base.
people do, right. I won't be able to vote for Kamala because she failed in AG and she failed as a border czar. She has no experience. Hey, look, man, I admit it. The Biden administration should have did more to stop the flow of immigration that was going in the southern states, and the lines and the things that were going on that was so bad. They should have did a better job of shutting that shit down. Now, the thing is that they just returned it to normal because Trump had turned it off and wouldn't let anyone come in. And that's the thing. That's the visuals. We were back to where it used to be. People used to be at the border all the time. But when Trump was president, he shut it off and nobody was there. Yep. And you guys got used to that. And now you think that was the norm, but it wasn't the norm. The norm was people was coming to seek amnesty in America, and there would be lines of people out there trying to get into the country. Now that Trump is back, those lines are gone again because people know that he's not going to let them in. So when Biden was in there, they was rushing to get in there, hoping that they can get asylum. You know, that's something that America used to give. But now I guess we don't agree with the Statue of Liberty anymore. We don't agree with immigration anymore. So we don't want anyone in America anymore. That's the way we're going. And that's probably the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. We're going against the Constitution. We're going against what America fucking means. Go ahead, take that comment down. It's blocking half my face. But anyway, we got to do better than that, man. Yeah, everybody says that, man. But legal immigration takes a while. Sometimes it takes up to 5 to 8 years for these people to become an American citizen. So while they're going through the process, they're here and they're going through the process, but you guys don't want them here when they're going through the process. And that's the problem. And there's also a work visa, school visas that the right somehow is now against. They're kicking kids out. They're removing jobs. Like, dog, this is bullshit. This is not the America that everybody knows. That even Reagan, he gave millions of immigrants amnesty. That's why a lot of them was voting Republican for a long time, because of what Reagan did, giving them amnesty in America. Now you guys y'all hate him. Y'all don't want him here. It's crazy. That's the cool thing about AI, more convincing. You think I'm AI? Oh, okay. I guess. Whatever. I guess, bro. I am not AI. But whatever, dog. If that makes you feel better about your Trumpy, that somebody just don't like him and is against him, they got to be AI. Fucking dumb shit, man. No, we just don't like Trump. That doesn't make us AI, man. We just have a brain. But anyway, man, we appreciate you guys sticking with us today and going through the show. We're gonna be back on Wednesday to talk more about politics and more about what's going on in the world around us, and teach. Sometimes you have to teach. You have to show history, just like we did today. We showed history on Africa and what's going on there and the things that they do. You can't be closed-minded if you want to be a better person. You can't be closed-minded or close off the country if you want to help others. And that's the road that we are going down today. The road of not helping. The road of closing the door on everyone else that's looking for asylum or looking for help. And the people who are yelling, they love God and the Bible, are the people that's yelling the most.
Right.
So until next time, thanks, Iesha. Thanks for kicking with us. Right on Aiden for engineering the show. Until the Wednesday, we peace out.
Holla, holla.
Thanks for watching another episode of Habari Live. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and get updates on news, the podcast, and more. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter. And don't forget to visit www.habarientertainment.com. See you next week. Peace.